Very good afternoon to all of you. I know that we are already running very late, so I'm not going to keep you away from your lunch. And secondly, I have just returned from Europe, and I was requested by Professor Anand Kumar to come and participate in the celebration of his 75th birthday. So, Professor Anandji, very, very happy birthday to you. And we wish you all the good health and productive years ahead. So, at the outset, let me make it very clear that I am not going to dwell on these lofty concepts of nation building and citizenship, even if it entails a search for new sources of social identification and the advent of capitalism, globalization, or deglobalization, etc., or issues pertaining to the rights and duties of the members of any nation state or city, whether civil, political, or social, inevitably involving inequalities between social classes, whereas citizenship involves some redistribution of resources because of implied rights which ought to be shared equally by all, and constant undermining of citizenship, gender differences in the experience of citizenship, etc. Today, students of politics are exploring the changing relationships between individuals, communities, and states in a perpetually changing nation state, increasingly subject to both external and internal forces. Undoubtedly, all these concerns have been very close to Professor Anand's heart and have reflected well in his intellectual endeavors. And everyone since the morning, I think, have been discussing these issues. So please pardon me. And I agree with Sujata when, she says that we have to have an eclectic approach. Let me remind all the students of social sciences today that yes, it's important because we are not prescriptive in our approach in social sciences. We are rather descriptive and analytic. So that dimension is very important. And one question I have for Anandji today, which is democratic imagination, wonderful. For me, the question to you is it a means to an end or is it an end in itself? So today on his 75th birthday, I am actually going to share another side of Professor Anand Kumar, which is a personal side. We have been fellow travelers for the last 50 years. He was 2 years senior to me when I joined CSSS. And so the way I have perceived his journey, it's totally, I'm afraid, at a personal level. And this is what I'm going to highlight today. And you will not know these stories from anybody else except me. So if I had to describe Professor Anand in one word, it would emphatically be his democratic constitution. From day one, when I encountered him as a postgraduate fresher, mind you, it was a freshers' party for the MS students, where I heard him for the first time. I was immediately struck by both his theatrical and dramatic speech, reflecting his histrionic ability that called for the students to have a voice in the decision-making processes of our university. He not only promised to represent the interests of the students, but injected his version of idealism in the student politics of the 70s. And naturally, I have to mention it over here, that I saw him as the Pied Piper of CSSS. He could really mobilize the students, and he was a very charming, musician, I would say, who could bring people together. And this is what he did with all the people under the umbrella of free thinkers, people from both left and the right, and different shades of left and the right. were under this umbrella of free thinkers. And that is how I encountered him as well. At a personal level, like Manoj has also mentioned about the journey from Banaras to JNU to Chicago and back. I think it's very important to mention that Anandji comes from a political family. I think it's very much there in his genes. His uncle, his association with Raj Narayan, Jayaprakash Narayan, Chandrasekhar, etc., as his mentor.
Contested elections also.
Huh?
He himself has contested elections.
Yes, no, but I must mention over here, how did he contest the election? First time, Anandji lost. Second time, when he stood for the elections, I helped him out. I got all the manifestos printed at night, if he remembers correctly. And that is the time when Anand won the election. Do you remember that?
Talking about the parliament election.
No, Parliament, that is for the future now, But don't forget, his family legacy is, I think, equally important. His other siblings, whether it was Ranjana or his other younger sister and Anjana, etc. You see, they all were political creatures. And under his shadow, his other siblings could also develop, which is a very, very, I think, important point to make. That Anandji not only encouraged all the students, but I think he also was very, very inspiring for his own family members. And they have carved their own niche in society today. But the most important person, I think, in his life was his uncle, Professor Shivnaji. And he was a very eminent Buddhist scholar. So, not to say